Hello everyone, my name is Kelly Folk, and today I will be putting on the workshop, Let's Build a Zulip Bot. So this workshop is part of the Never Graduate Week hackathon. That's the Recurse Center's Never Graduate Week. If you were not able to make this workshop in person, I hope that this little recording will help you out. I've been working very hard the past few days to make sure all the bugs are settled, and I'm excited to show you all how to build a Zulip bot. So first bit about me, I've been contributing to Zulip, the Zulip terminal project, actually for the past few months. So I have a bit of experience with Zulip. I've also been using Zulip for a bunch of months with the Recurse Center. So I kind of know what I'm talking about, but I also am not an expert. So if you see something that doesn't make sense, drop a comment, reach out and message me. But without further ado, let's get started. So yeah, let me get this little thing off. And then, so these are my slides. They're very bland because this is designed to be an interactive workshop. And while we're not actually going to be doing anything because there are none of you, it is just a recording of me right now, I'm going to be going in and actually showing you all everything I'm talking about. So you probably won't see these slides most of the show, but I will have a link to them because they're more designed as like a step-by-step. You could follow them to replicate everything I've done here. So yeah, see, I have that little note down there. I'm just gonna keep them like this because I like looking at them like this instead of making them full screen. So what's a Zulip bot? A Zulip bot is a wonderful creature that lives on Zulip. Some Zulip bots you may have used if you're part of the Recurse Center are the chat bot, the pairing bot, the algorithms bot, the RSVP bot. Basically, you send the bot a message or you ping it and it replies to you. Like this chat bot, every day it matches me with a random person to chat with. And I can reach out to it and say skip, and it'll skip me for a day. Like basically it has some pre-programmed responses, commands it executes, and it lives on Zulip. So that is a Zulip bot. It's basically a chat bot of some sort. So how a bot works, to put it kind of simply, someone, maybe you, pings your bot in Zulip or sends it a private message, and then that message goes to your server. The server data or the message data is sent to your bot server as a post request. And then the server passes the message content to the appropriate bot. There can be more than one bot hosted on a server. And there are several ways to host your bot. Today we will be using the Zulip BotServer, which is a very simple Flask framework that Zulip has set up for us, that we just have to implement and deploy. But so once it gets passed from the server to your bot takes the message, processes it, and then replies or sends emojis via the Zulip API. And then step 4, in Zulip you see the message and the emojis and whatever you told the bot to do in your code. So a little bit more, the Zulip BotServer, like I said, it's a simple Flask server for running a bot in production. This here is more for when you're actually building the bot. This is what the JSON looks like that gets posted to your server. So I found it very helpful to know that, and I actually printed it out when I first started making bots just so I could know. Your bot, yeah, as it says here, it'll make a lot more sense when we look at the code, but Zulip's abstracted a lot of the nitty-gritty stuff away, and basically all we have to do is just write the fun bot code where you take the message and you decide what to do with it. But you don't really have to worry about actually like communicating with the API and everything that comes along with that. You can if you want to, but we're not going to talk about this today. So let's get to the interactive part, setting up your development environment. Zulip has put together a wonderful piece of documentation for how to do this. So we're just going to go to this nice little website, which I have up over here. Go down to, let me get rid of that. So installing a development version of the Zulip bots package. We're going to git clone the Python Zulip API. cd into that repository, set up our virtual environment, and let me just get into my code folder, and then let me clone this, which you will all be doing as well. So as you can see here, I am starting from the ground up so that you all can see exactly what I'm doing. And now I'm going to open that new folder in VS Code. So I'm using code instead of CD, and now I'm going to open that up. And then we'll be dealing with VS Code from now on pretty much. So let me open myself up a terminal window, close that out, move those over, and I have to run Python 3 tools provision, and that will set up the virtual environment. And I'm going to run that, and that's going to install everything we need to create our bots and run them. Yeah, so eventually it'll give us the command to actually activate the virtual environment. It installs, as you see here, it installs like the key packages in developer mode, so you don't have to reinstall them every time we make updates to the code. Very convenient. There's also, by the way, while we're here, there's some good documentation down here about like writing a bot. I do recommend checking that out. I found it very helpful. So, but I'm not going to go over that because I'm doing it myself over here. So, while it's downloading all that, let's look at what we've actually downloaded. So this right here is the majority of like the Zulip API, all that type of stuff, send messages, send reactions, all that's in there. This Zulip BotServer folder is where the Flask server lives. We can go into more detail later, but essentially just all the details are in server.py, more information is in the README. And then we are going to be dealing with this folder called Zulip Bots. And then we're going to go into the Zulip Bots folder in the Zulip Bots folder. And then in here you have a bunch of things. Run.py, terminal.py are some different modules for running bots locally. Lib.py involves more of the bot handler class, which is one of the abstractions we'll be using. And then in the bots folder is where the meat of the project lives. And right now, this is complete with a whole bunch of pre-configured bots that we can actually deploy and run. They're already set up for us. And they all have a bunch of different functions. They're awesome to look at to get inspiration or to figure out how different things are implemented because they are all well implemented and they work. Let me move my stuff down so I know where I am. All right, so let's take a peek at the Hello World bot. This is one of the simplest bots you can possibly run or create. Let's open up Hello World. Ooh, so this is the code. You can see here we're importing this thing called bot handler from zulipbots.lib. In that lib module, there is the bot handler, which is like the typing class, and then there's an external bot handler, which is basically the meat of how your bot interacts with the Zulip API, which you can go check that out if you want to. I certainly did, but right now we're just going to assume it works. We're not really going to question it too much. But so this is like the general format of a bot. You define a class at the top, and that can be called whatever you'd like it to be called. They call it the Hello World Handler. The key is that you define it, and then down here you do handler class equals whatever that class up there is. And that way, when the bot server and the bot handlers are going in, try to figure out like, where's your bot? Like, how is it defined? It's all taken care of, right, with these two things. Every bot must have two functions, at least two functions. First, a usage. That will be called if someone pings your bot at mybothelp. It will return this. This bot actually I don't believe does return that because it's a little bit funky. But generally, if you ask the bot for help, it will return this, which basically will just explain what the bot does. And then there's this other one, handle message. This is basically, so you can see here it gets passed message, which is that JSON object I showed you before. It's just the message content, who sent it, all kinds of information. And then this bot handler object, which gives your bot the ability to interact with Zulip. So you can see here, this is the content of the message we'll be sending back to Zulip. And then we just use the bot handler to send a reply. Send reply, you need to pass in the original message, and then the content, which is just a string of what you want the bot to say back. In this case, beep boop. So, and then that will go to Zulip, and it will be sent. And here we're actually sending an emoji where the bot will be sending a wave emoji on the message, the original ping, to the bot. And then just an empty return, and that is a basic bot. We'll be using this as some boilerplate code, most likely. But there's some other interesting bots. For example, barometrics. It's a good example of breaking down, well, one, doing something slightly more complicated, and two, breaking down the message into finer details. So like you can see here that there's the message content, and it's stripping that into a list of strings so that we can see what the first word was in the message. So we can see, was it help? Was it list commands? Basically, like when you ping the bot, what did you say to it? What did you want it to do? For example, here you can do list plans, list customers, all kinds of different commands. And this is showing how you can break that down and parse it, and then how you can handle them. There's another bot called the incrementer. Here it is. And that's a good example of how to use the local bot storage that the bot handler class allows you. So each Zulip server gives each bot a certain amount of storage. It's not very big, so if you're going to be storing a lot of things, do not use it. But basically, you can just store simple like key item pairs in there, and then you can retrieve them, update them. This basically, every time you ping the bot, it will increment the number of times you ping the bot. And it actually does this by updating a previous message that the bot sent instead of sending a new message. So like the first time you ping it, it'll say 1. Then it'll update that 1 to say 2 the next time you ping it. So you can see here, we're defining the storage, and we're getting the key message ID from storage, and all that good stuff. So this is the incrementer bot is a good example for that. And now let's get to the exciting part. So first, let's activate our virtual environment. I don't want breaks to happen. I have my laptop set up to tell me when I need to stand up, rest my eyes, all that. Highly recommend it. Stretchly is this awesome open source project for anyone who sits at a computer all day. Check it out. Aside from that little plug, our virtual environment is now activated. And let's test a bot locally. So there's this lovely thing called Zulip-terminal, and this is not the Zulip terminal app. It is actually a terminal interface for testing what a bot is going to send back to you when you ping it. So let's try out the Hello World bot. And now you can see we're going to enter our message. So this is basically what you're passing to the bot after the ping, which would be like, instead of saying at Hello World, hi, it would just be hi. So I'm going to say hi. Oops. So here we got an error. This error is in fact because the Zulip terminal interface does not accept emojis. So you cannot react to something in the terminal. You will get an error. So if we run this again, now that we've commented out this part of with the emojis, we can say hi. And then it'll tell us what the bot responded with, which is beep boop. Exactly what it was supposed to do. This bot basically just says beep boop to anything you pass in, just lots of beep boops. So that is working. Everything is going properly. You can use this for your bot. It's a lot easier than having to go into Zulip, ping the bot, see what it responds. This is just a very quick and easy way to manually test your bot. There also are some good examples of unit tests for your bot in here. I'm not going to go over those so much, but definitely check them out. Very worthwhile. All right, so we've done that. Now it's time to, also, one more important thing before we actually go into Zulip and create a bot instance. When you create your own custom bot, basically you want to add a new folder in bots and name it whatever you're going to name your bot. I'm going to call it my bot. Then in my bot, you want your init file, and then you need a file called the same thing as your folder, my bot, the name of your bot, .py. And this is where all your code's going to live. Honestly, you could just copy the hello world folder and then paste it and then just update everything, because that's just some great boilerplate of what it should be. But so your bot name in the folder, your bot.py as the file name, and then like I said, define the class. Handler class equals whatever your class is called, and you need the two functions, usage and handle message. So I'm not actually going to create a bot, but I'm going to show you how to deploy a bot using these pre-configured examples we have here. So let me close these out. I'm going to deploy the Hello World bot because I think it's really funny. So to do this, let's go into Zulip. And I like to use the Zulip Mac app. So that is, oops, I don't want to show you my private messages. Here we go. So go up into your settings. It's this little gear icon. It's the same in the web version as well. Go into settings. And then go into your bots. I have no active bots. Add a new bot. For this, we're just going to be running the bot locally. We're not actually deploying it. I'm going to pick generic bot. I'm going to choose a bot 123, bot 123. Choose whatever name you want. Oh, someone already used that. Let me try 1234. All right, cool. And now you can see here, now I have bot 1234, and I can copy or download the Zulip RC file. I'm going to copy it, and then I can go back into VS Code, and I'm going to add a new file called Zulip RC, and I like to do a little dash and then the name of the bot so I can keep them all straight when I have more bots. And then I'm just going to paste the content in there. And you'll basically just have the bot email, a key, and then the site that the bot is running on, which will be your Zulip server, recurse.zulipchat.com in this case. So, now that we have done that, we can run it using Zulip run bot, then the bot name being the name in Zulip bots folder that you want to run, not the name of your bot on Zulip. So I will use Zulip run bot, and then I'm going to run the hello world bot. Notice how it's hello world, not bot 1234. And then I'm going to point it to that config file we just downloaded. So that will just be Zulip RC bot 1234 because I put it in the top level. So, and then that should work. So I'm going to run that. And you can see here that it's listening. The bot is message handling. So if I want to go over to Zulip again, I can X out of that. And I can go to this lovely stream called bot test that I've been using lots. And then I can ping at bot 1234, which is the bot I just created, and go, hi. And there we go. It says beep boop. Oh, and it did not wave at me. That is because I commented out the wave code. Let's go uncomment the emoji code. Let's see. Yep, let's uncomment that. Save it, restart this. And now we can go back to Zulip, ping it again at bot 1234. Hi. Now see, it waved at me. So that is a nice, easy way to run the bot locally. But let's talk, not that. Let's talk about deploying a bot on Heroku using the bot server. So let me go back to my slides real quick. There, let's go down. And we are here. So basically we're going to create a Git repository in the folder using git init. We're going to make an initial commit. And then we are going to create an app on Heroku via the website or the command line interface, whatever you prefer. Then we are going to go back into Zulip, create an outgoing webhooks bot, and download the Zulip RC file. Similarly to what we did for the generic bot, there's a few other things you need to do. Then we're going to add a proc file, and then we are going to push the app to Heroku and see what happens. There is some documentation for this in the Zulip API docs, but I found it rather confusing and missing important things, so I would stick to my slides for this part. Well, step one, let's create the Git repository. Let's X out of that. So git init. All right. Apparently I already had a Git repository. My bad. Like I said, I'm not perfect. Let me add everything. And let me git commit. Whoop. All right, cool. That's all good. And now let's go back in. And so basically to create an app on a Heroku, you can do it via the command line if you have the command line interface installed with Heroku create app name. Here's a link to help you with that. You can also do it on the website in your dashboard. You do need to create an account on Heroku to do this, and you do not have to pay anything. It is a free app instance, but there'll be a little button new and create new app in the upper right-hand corner if you decide to go the website route. So let's do Heroku create, and let's do bot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No 2s. Alright, let's see if that one's taken. Every name has to be unique, so that might be taken. Oh no, alright. Let's do webhook bot, because that's what it'll be. Oh, alright. Webhook bot 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright, so we've created webhook bot 1, 2, 3, 4. And now what we're going to do is we're going to copy that link right there, and then we're going to go into Zulip, and we're going to go back up into settings and back to your bots. We're going to add a new bot, and this one's going to be an outgoing webhook bot for the bot type. And then we're going to name this one again. I'm going to call it outgoing webhook bot for the sake of simplicity. And then outgoing webhook bot. Can be whatever you want. And then for the endpoint URL, you are going to put the URL that you just copied from the Heroku command line. You're just going to put that in there. The docs tell you to put a port. Do not put a port. Heroku does not like when you specifically define ports, and you will get an error with the port not binding in 60 seconds or something. So just leave it like that. Outgoing message format should be Zulip. Add a profile picture if you want to, and then press create bot. Then you can go over here to active bots. And just like we did for bot 1, 2, 3, 4, we're going to copy that Zulip RC file and then go back into the S code and create another Zulip RC file. So this will be Zulip RC outgoing webhook bot. Then we're going to pass it in. So this bot, unlike the other one, it also has a token. That's just the nature of the bot. Up here in API, we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to put in the name of the bot that we want to run, which would be Hello World. That's the name of the bot within the bots folder, not the name of your bot on Zulip. So I'm just going to save that. And then next step, we are going to add a proc file. So you can see here, just did that. We're going to create a proc file. So this is generally what the proc file is going to look like. Let me just copy this, and then let's go make a proc file. In the code, let's create a new file, and we're going to call it proc file with no extension. So you can see it has the little Heroku icon there all of a sudden. It knows what it is. It knows what you're doing, trust me. And then this is, we're going to create a web instance. We're running the Zulip bot server, which is our lovely Flask server. Definitely, I recommend going in and checking out server.py because it's a pretty cool little file. The config file, once again, that is the path to the Zulip RC, which is this Zulip RC outgoing webhook bot. Zulip RC outgoing webhook bot, exactly. And then the port, we're going to let Heroku decide the port because Heroku likes to decide the port. If you don't pass in the port, it will default to 502, and Heroku has problems when your app is telling it which port to use. There are ways to work around this, but this just works wonderfully and it's very simple. For the host, we're going to add this. This also defaults to something else, but this will avoid errors for you. So pass this in, we're going to save it, and then we are going to commit that. So git add all, git commit, message added, Zulip RC, and proc file. All right, and then we are going to git push Heroku, and that will deploy our app on Heroku. And this is going to take a few minutes, but once we do that, it will be ready to ping. So when I was working on pulling this workshop together, I discovered that there was actually a small bug with the Heroku bot server setup in the Zulip server 4.0. So we're working on fixing that over at the Zulip area, but it might not have been fixed yet. So if I ping the bot on Zulip, it might have this failure message. That don't worry about that failure message. If you're getting it, it's going to be gone in like a day or two. By the time you see this video, it will probably be gone already, but you will see that failure message when I try to ping my bot, most likely, unless they've already merged the pull request to fix the bug. But you can pretty much ignore it because it will be gone. And yeah, so once I go and I ping this bot, I highly encourage you to try making your own bot. So, you know what, actually, while we're waiting, let's go look at the Zulip RC server, the bot server. So in here, oh, it's done. We're going to look at the server real quick. So basically, it's parsing your config file, and then down here, see it, you're creating a Flask app, and then your app has one route, which it's just the home, and it only takes one method, which is post. So if you try to go to this website, it'll say method not allowed because there are no get requests allowed to your website, only post requests. But it's going to be listening. It's going to take the JSON from the event that gets posted to it, and then it passes it to your bot with all this lovely stuff, and then yeah, which is pretty cool. And main, of course, just runs all that and passes all the appropriate things, including the port that you specified. So that's what's running when you run BotServer, when you call BotServer. But so now it is deployed. Let's go over back into Zulip to the test spot stream, and let's try pinging at webhook bot, outgoing webhook bot, and let's say hi. Boom! Look at that! Look at that! It waved and it did beep boop, and then here we have that lovely failure message that I was talking about earlier that will not be here in a few days, maybe even a few hours. So when you get the failure, it's also going to send you a DM or a PM. You can see this outgoing webhook bot. Don't worry about it. It's going to be gone. Everything's working properly, and that is how you build and deploy a Zulip bot. If you have any questions, I know I went through that fairly quickly. Just feel free to shoot me a message. If you're viewing this on YouTube, drop a comment below. Thank you for watching, and I hope, I can't wait to see all the things you create. I'm really excited. But yes, some simple ideas for bots you could create. You could do a to-do list bot, a jokes bot that basically gives you random jokes when you ping it, a compliments bot, gives you random compliments when you ping it. Maybe even there's like two sides to that bot. One If you ping it something, it gives you compliments. If you ping it something else, it gives you like a diss. I don't know. All kinds of fun, just simple little things to like get comfortable with the bot API. And that is all.